Hello and welcome back. Today I want to talk to you about quilts. And I know what you're thinking. You always talk to us about quilts. And well, yeah, you're right. But today is a little different. We're not making one. We are repairing one. We had a customer come in one time that asked if a quilt repair was even worth doing. Well, the answer to that is yes. If it's a store-bought quilt that has no meaning, it's up to you. But if it's a quilt that your mother made, your grandmother made, your aunt made, your whoever in your family or friends made it, then it's worth repairing. Quilts tell a story. Here's one. And this one was made in the 1950s. Do you know what story it tells me? It tells me that this was somebody's clothes, or this was a feed sack, or all of this had meaning. Back in the day when they made quilts, they didn't make them like we did by going and buying the pre-cuts and fabrics and making a quilt. They made it out of necessity, and they made it with things they had, down to a little scrap of fabric. Anything that they had, they made it from. Clothes, feed sacks, you name it, they made it. So to me, that tells a story, and that is just so special. And if you can look at one and say, ooh, that was Aunt Sue's dress, or Uncle John's shirt, or that's even more meaningful. So quilts that are handmade by a family or friend or anybody, even if you find one at a yard sale, they are worth repairing. Let me repeat that. They are worth repairing. Now, let's go on. This is one that a customer brought in and wanted it repaired. And I forgot, or actually I didn't even think about it when I was doing a video on it. But I did take pictures along the way and to see the before and the after. So I'll post those pictures here in just a minute. But I wanted to show you how it turned out. It turned out perfect. Look how pretty this quilt is. And now somebody has their quilt back. It had all of the binding was messed up along the edges, so we rebinded it, and then it had a hole in the back, so we put a label on it to show who made it and when, who it was for, and covered that hole. You can get creative with things if you don't need another label or something. If the person or a family member made doilies, you can use those sometimes if they're thick enough. Use them as a cover over a hole. Or you can patch it. Just try to find a fabric that looks more like that era so it doesn't stand out as a brand new fabric. But there's lots of ways to get creative in mending and repairing quilts, but I do want you to know they are always worth repairing. Always. We did have one that came in that was so holy and messed up, and I mean it had a lot of places to mend, and really there was really no way to fix that one. But we did tell her to take it. She wanted to show it. She wanted to display it. So we folded it in a way that you could lay it on the end of a bed and you didn't even see the mess ups. Now, when you open it up, you would, but she wasn't going to open it up. She wasn't going to use it. She wasn't going to do anything but leave it at the end of the bed so that she could see it and she could have memories from it and other people could see it, but it not be bothered and not be touched. So it's always worth repairing or saving a quilt. And there's things you can also do with quilts. If you find one, let's say at a yard sale, or it doesn't have meaning, or if there's just a tiny little bit left in it and the rest of it is ratty and tatted and you just can't do anything with it, there's lots of things you can do with that piece that you can save out of it. You can make stockings out of it. You can make bunnies out of it. I mean, there's lots of different things you can make with them. So if there's a spot left on the quilt, keep it. You can do something with it. If there's spots along the way that you can repair it. In every case, I would say repair it. Repair, repair, repair. That's the best thing to do for a quilt, because someone took a lot of time to make these quilts and a lot of effort to make these quilts. And even if you find it at a yard sale, it's not yours. It has no meaning to you. You don't know whose clothes they were. You don't know who made it. Somebody did, and it's worth scarfing it up and keeping it just to look at, because quilts are so pretty. You knew I was going to say that, right? Because they are. Quilts are gorgeous. So, when you can, save it. When you can't save it, do something. Happy quilting.